Hi, and welcome to today's Shortcuts. Today we're going to talk about the step through. So this can be something that's really hard for a lot of us. If you have shorter arms, if you have a little more abundance here, and I feel like I have a lot more abundance right now with my COVID-15. And so there's ways that we can work around that without feeling like we can't do the step through. And a few things you can practice. First of all, having blocks is really, really essential. I have an extra obstacle that I'm going to have to step over today. So we'll see if I can do it. So I'm going to start right for where we're doing this step through, and that is in our downward facing dog. And so a great way to practice this is to start with your hands on blocks. I've got my hands on the medium height right here. I'm in my downward facing dog. And I'm going to use my right leg to start. So I'm lifting that leg. I like to do this just because it feels like a really nice stretch. And then as I bend my knee and I draw my knee forward, I'm going to lift up as high as I can on my back foot, my standing foot, and draw that thigh into my belly as much as I can. And then I'm going to curl my spine up as though I'm doing cat pose. So everything's drawing up. I'm pressing away from my blocks. And then I'm going to try and step that foot forward. So if that foot doesn't get forward even with my block, here's what you can do. Do all those same things, drawing the knee forward, lifting high up on your back toes, lifting up the hips, the spine, lifting up away from the floor, and just step that foot wide. So it gives me a little more room between my thigh and my belly, and I'm stepping to the edge of my mat here, which gives me a lot more space, and I could even step it all the way up here. And even walking to the top of your mat, you can just step your feet to the outside edges of your mat and walk. It's like an exercise in its own, walking your feet up to the top of your mat, stepping wide. And do the same going back, giving yourself extra room between the thigh and the belly, and also a little more room for the hip. It can be really difficult to draw the foot forward from here. Requires a lot more flexibility, but bringing it out to the side gives us a lot of room, both in the hip and between the thigh and the belly. So that's a really great way to work with that. And don't forget, if your foot only gets here, you can just use that hand to help it get up there, whether you have blocks or no blocks. So I hope that helps with your step throughs a little bit. And just the act of, as I say, just working with your blocks and practicing that stepping through, which we've done in class before, but we haven't done for a long time. But this is a great exercise. Start with your hands on the medium height. Draw the knee in. Lift high up on the bottom toes. Draw the thigh up as much as you can. This is a great core workout. Step it up as far as you can go. See if you can lift up through your shoulders. Lift that foot up and bring it back. And just do this a few times. And do both sides equal number. This is great workout for shoulders, for your core, for the hips, the strength of the hips in order to lift up. And this part right here, which I'm struggling with a bit today with my dog's nose in the way, of lifting your foot up off the floor before you step back. So have fun with that. See if you can do maybe 3, maybe 6 on each side, and really work with that strength and that connection, that integration between the lower body and the upper body and the core that helps make that action of stepping forward happen. And if it doesn't, walk your hands back to your feet. Thanks so much for joining for this week's little shortcuts, and we will see you again next week. Namaste. Have a wonderful day.